Did he run away?
Yes.
All right, we
Nice.
are live on YouTube and Facebook. We are recording. Ravi, whenever you are ready.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Was It Good? We talking Lovebirds, Uncut Gems, war movies, and a whole bunch of news that's only 32% of you will care about. I'm your host, Ravi, and I'm joined by Christian. There's so many grammatical errors in this.
I mean, I had just woken up.
Oh my God. All right, let me redo that. Jesus.
Hang on, let me fix them then real quick.
God, you have one job.
We're
as a
Guys, we're
talking
burning
podcast.
through tape right now.
Yeah, seriously. It's not like this is the digital frickety frick age.
And the second part does make sense. You just got to read it correctly.
Don't read
Don't
through
read it.
Use
Just
that
read now.
overview. Okay.
Use that only 32% of it. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Was It Good? We're talking Lovebirds, Uncut Gems, war movies, and a whole bunch of news that only 32% of you will care about. I'm your host, Ravi, and I'm joined by the usual suspects, Christian and Arjuna. Guys, it's Memorial Day. We're off. We're about to grill. But more importantly, we're going to be giving away this IHome Millenium Falcon right here on this episode. Without further ado, rate my bicep on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, you're looking about a 4 today.
Really?
That's a 0.
You haven't done any
Really?
pull-ups yet.
I haven't done. You don't like that?
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
pretty good.
jeez.
It looks pretty good.
That was good. I didn't expect that last part. So props
Yeah,
to you.
I want something very random. So
Yeah, you.
yeah.
Good for you.
He likes it because he gets to show up his.
Yeah, oh yeah,
podcast.
no, that's the thing. He's in love with it. Wait till he sees what I do next week. It's
I'm
gonna
not-
be like,
I'm
check
not-
out my butt.
I'm not super in love with my biceps.
You're not in love with them?
No.
Why not?
Because that's vain.
Every man, of my opinion, every man should love their biceps.
I don't like my biceps.
You like them?
I don't.
Well, then you need to work on that. If you don't love them, you need to get to work, people.
Well, what?
All right.
What do I pay you for?
If you don't,
So we are gonna jump into this real quick here. A little movie made by this small studio called Paramount was supposed to originally have aired or premiered in theaters, but due to the current situation, they decided not to do what everyone else is doing, Disney and everyone else, and pushing the release date to get that big bang for the buck. Instead, they gave it to Netflix, I'm sure for a pretty penny, to distribute. And that movie, of course, is Lovebirds, starring...
Kumail Nanjiani and Issa Rae,
Thank you.
because you can't remember who they are.
The person from Silicon Valley,
Dinesh.
Dinesh. What was she in that she was known for?
I actually don't know.
She's done. So her big thing is her show on HBO, Insecure.
Oh, that's
which
right.
She
Never saw that.
She created, writes, and stars in.
Is it because she's insecure?
I think
have
the
to watch
point
the
of
show
the
to
show
find out.
I think the point is everyone is insecure. I think that's the point of the show. Anyway, a movie. How would you guys classify that movie? Like,
It's a rom-com. It's a romantic comedy.
oh, I wouldn't even give it that.
I mean, that's
that's
exactly
the genre
what
of what it is.
Yeah.
How-
Romantic comedies are not supposed to be great movies.
Yeah, they're like
They're
action
kind of like
movies.
they're kind of like action or comic book movies.
Yeah.
There's a formula,
Mhm.
and you know exactly what you're gonna get going in. And I would say that this movie delivered on those expectations. You
Wow,
know?
what a
It's a
roller
formula.
coaster of a review.
It's a formula. It's like you guys. It's like you guys bashing Extraction, that Chris Hemsworth action movie on Netflix.
Right, it's a formula.
It's you go in expecting something and you get out exactly what you expect.
hot garbage.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't bash the genre. It's not a well-made. It wasn't a well-made action movie for me.
No, we're not
for
talking
me.
about that right now.
yeah, we're not talking trash. We're talking.
I just brought it up to
we're talking specifically.
I don't know why I brought it up.
Lovebirds.
Yeah.
What was your Okay, so we were watching it.
Mhm.
Let's start.
okay.
Let's start with the two main characters and their
Yes.
chemistry.
Because
what
I've
did
seen
we
this-
think about that?
I've seen this in many. I've heard 3 separate people now. You, coworker, and one other person say that their chemistry was not good.
It was stiff.
I saw it a little differently.
Oh, let's hear it. I'd like to hear it.
So
Thank you,
So
Archie.
I actually watched this with Sahara, my girlfriend, and
Do you real quick? Do you know you bring her up every episode as your girlfriend? Is there someone you're trying to tell out there on the internet that you have a girlfriend?
No,
stop bothering me. I'm taken.
It's a qualifier I use just in case person doesn't know who this random person now might be bringing up. But anyway,
that's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Sahara and I, we saw this trailer months ago, and we really wanted to see it because it's kind of reflected us, right? Sahara, Kumail is Indian and Issa Rae is black and Sahara is black, so it's like an interracial type of couple. So we're like, oh,
you're Indian,
but it's like, oh, it's kind of
you don't sound it.
It's kind of like us, right? It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like you're seeing something that you don't necessarily see. A lot of these rom-coms are like white couples, or it's like one minority, but two minorities is something a little different. And some of their chemistry, like when they kissed, like that was really awkward. Like the kiss was really, really strange. Like he went for her, like it wasn't even on the lip. It was like here in the right below the nose.
You're really dissecting that kiss right now.
No, because they did it twice, and both times it was very strange. Like it was very strange.
Oh man, there's so many ways to be racist right now on both sides, and we just can't go there. So I'm not gonna say anything.
Please don't. I don't want to be taken off the air.
Well, what I liked about their chemistry was the kind of both of their comedic styles, and I thought that worked well. This movie didn't necessarily show them very lovey-dovey, and I kind of liked that. I kind of liked that they didn't go for I'm so in love with you and this and that. They're really bickering a lot of the movie.
Well, that's the point, though.
Yeah,
right?
and so that's why I think people are like, oh, they don't have good chemistry. It's like, well, they're not necessarily supposed to have good chemistry because they are arguing most of the movie, and then they kind of come back together.
That's a great point.
But that's the thing, though. Even when they come back together, and even the bickering, it didn't feel right. Like it felt off. Like it felt very kind of like this was I don't want to use the word forced, but kind of like it felt a little forced. Like, yes, we get you're a couple, and yes, we get you're fighting, but it's like the consistent bickering and all of that. And I get the situation is like one aspect of everything, and then them breaking up is the other big aspect. But it still felt very kind of in your face and overacting essentially.
But I mean to go back to Krishna's point earlier, that is rom-com. Like watch any rom-com almost, and that is the genre. It is overacting. It is kind of over the top and ridiculous type of situation.
Another Camille film is it Stuber?
Stuber.
Is that a rom-com?
Kind of. It's supposed to be a buddy cop movie, but it definitely has, I feel like, the same arc as a rom-com.
So,
I just want to point out one thing. This is perfect. What is it with Kumail and rideshare apps? Big Sick, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Stuber.
Yep.
And in this, he spends half the movie ordering lifts.
Well, they're shared.
He's just.
Does he ever?
He is to the rideshare apps what Sean Bean is to getting killed off in everything he appears in. Like it's now a thing. They're locked in. They can't escape it. It has to be written in.
And that was my other not major problem thing, but Camille as an actor has clearly been typecast now.
Yeah.
Where he's this weird, goofy Indian guy, and we get it. There's only two things that I've ever seen in him that made sense and I thought were great. Everything else just feels like a rehash, and that's going to be Silicon Valley as Dinesh. I thought he was great in that. Mm-hmm. And then also the episode of The Twilight Zone where he plays the comedian, right? I thought he did a great job in that, and it was very interesting. And I'm hoping my fear is his big role that's going to put him on the map worldwide, whatever, is the Eternals. And it's is he going to end up being this goofball of a dude in the Eternals, or is he going to be a legit interesting character?
Well, counter argument to your point, even in those two roles, he still plays a variation of that same archetype, right? Yeah. He is still kind of a goofy. He is still goofy. He's still this comedic type of role. I just think Kumail is a comedian. I don't really even see him as an actor. I see him as just a comedian.
Wow, what a low blow!
No,
you just insulted him.
That's not an insult to. He hasn't done drama. He hasn't. An actor is he's like Adam Sandler, honestly, before Uncut Gems. A little tease right there for what's to come. But he really is. They do the same roles. They're comedians. Their bread and butter was stand up. They transition to movies. They have movie chemistry, but they do those types of stand-up comic roles. And until Kumail like really pushes the boundaries, like maybe it's the Eternals, but I don't know.
Probably not.
My assumption is he's going to play that same archetype, and they're making it a bit, and it's going to be funny because he's going to be buff, right? Cause,
I hope
that's
so.
Is he the Indian version of Chris Pratt?
He might be. I mean, he might become like it might be the same type of arc, right? Where Chris Pratt was. I mean, Chris Pratt wasn't a stand-up comic to start, though. That's a little bit of a difference.
No.
But like, yeah, he was known for comedy, and then he did, Guardians, and he still every role he does, even though he's like now buff Pratt, right? He's still a goofball.
Yeah.
In everything I don't think he's ever done like a quote-unquote serious role.
Let's be honest though. If you get past the whole comedian and doing those things, 95% of Hollywood actors are typecast. Like, let's be honest, they do one, maybe two, but mostly one thing really well, and they just do it over and over and over again.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Will Smith, no, Daniel Day-Lewis is the exception. Joaquin Phoenix, the exception.
No, because they do drama really well, but has Joaquin done a lot of comedy?
Signs?
Yeah.
Have you seen Signs there,
Signs.
buddy?
But that's still
great.
that's still drama. Have you ever seen him in
Yeah.
like a rom-com? Have you ever seen him in
That's
like
true.
The
a
Joker?
slapstick comedy?
He was in love with his neighbor, and then he killed her, I think.
I guess that's a good point.
Still
Yeah.
That is still so. Hey, we want super dramatic, over the top. Bring in a Joaquin. Bring in a Daniel
Day-Lewis.
yeah, everyone's typecast. I
Yeah.
mean, you could up that number to 99%.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So yeah, I mean let's to be honest, that's not a weakness of Kumail. It's
Yeah,
just
I'm
it's
not
a
saying
weakness
it's a weakness.
of the industry.
Yeah, and I'm just saying.
If it even is a weakness, maybe it's not.
I mean, think back to the 80s and 90s, right?
I was barely alive.
You went to think back to like our parents' favorite movies. Commando, right? Dad loves Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why does he love Arnold Schwarzenegger? Because every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie you go to see, it's the same formula, right?
Jingle All the Way is a comedy, and he does comedy well, and he does drama. Have you seen that movie, Terminator? The first one's like a drama, and he does that great job.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger when he did the first Terminator.
He also played a governor in real life at one point. I don't know what that would be called.
The greatest role of his life.
Anyone watch the the Truth or Dare thing with James Corden? Schwarzenegger did it.
Oh my God!
And like he was grossed out, and he admitted that when he was governor, he like wrote out this memo. Like there was a journalist he didn't like, and the first letter of everything you could take, it said "fuck you."
Oh my God!
And he's like, I lied under oath. I said it was a coincidence, but I did that on purpose.
Wow!
Damn!
What the fuck?
I was like, that's great.
Jesus.
Also, rules for impeachment, pretty sure, because you can't lie under oath.
Yeah, because they uphold that every single time. Anyway, we're drifting here to politics. Lovebirds. What about the premise of the fucking thing?
Yeah, that's
that part annoyed me to no end because it started out interesting where like even the trailer's like, yeah, somebody takes the car, runs over this guy, whatever. But then, spoiler, it's ultimately revealed as a gigantic fucking sex club thing, and it's like, oh, cool.
So to relate it back to another movie, did you guys ever see Game Night?
Yes.
Yeah.
So remember,
I was thinking
you
of
remember
that
how
movie this whole
intricate
time.
Game Night is with like the twists and the turns and like how tightly wound it is in terms of like, oh, this. They even show like a thing at the end of like what was the game night that Todd from Breaking Bad did and what was like actually happening. That's what I kind of thought this was going to be like. It was this like kind of this tightly wound mystery that was kind of intricate and cool. But it wasn't. It was back to the old genre of like it's really flimsy. And I agree. Like the plot was pretty disappointing, and especially like when it's just like it's a cult and we caught them and that's it. I was like,
yeah,
awesome. And like the fact that when we were watching it, I called that the mustache guy was going to appear here and there,
and he was a cop. You called it. I think near the very beginning that he actually is a cop. He's a crooked cop.
Yeah.
So
it's like whatever.
Yeah, plot was.
The plot was whatever.
Yeah.
So bad plot, interesting, not great chemistry. Arjuna. Was Lovebirds good?
I'm going to actually go with a yes.
Get out.
No, really.
Are you going to say yes? Are you saying it's good because it represents your relationship?
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I know you see
real
yourself
quick,
in it.
one major difference. Kumail's buff. What's your excuse?
I mean, Kumail wasn't buff, and he
Touche.
became buff.
Touche.
So now I will go through the Kumail transformation
Nice.
when I am cast in my MCU movie, as background actors.
You
number
get an
6.
MCU movie. You get an MCU movie. You all get MCU movies.
When are we going to get to the point with the MCU where it's like a background character that appeared in Iron Man 2 now gets a starring movie? You know, like Saw franchise.
50 years.
Essentially.
I mean, that's how comic books work, right?
Yeah. But so I will say this was a good movie. You know, I actually liked the chemistry that they did. I liked that they went for a slightly different take in terms of them kind of breaking up and coming back together. The plot wasn't great, but I enjoyed the movie. I did like the movie, and you know, hopefully we see more original types of rom-coms with maybe this pairing or something like it.
You want a sequel?
Not a sequel. No, I don't want a sequel to this. But I want.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I did say I wanted a sequel. Krishna, was Lovebirds good?
No. I enjoyed it. It gave me some cheap laughs, but it did feel cheap.
You know, cheap weed will do that for you too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like cheap weed will do the job, but was it good? No. And that's how I feel about
Usually cheap weed, it's all right.
No, it isn't.
Gets me laughing.
No, it does the job.
Right.
But did you do you experience the actual experience of smoking it? No, it hurts. Like it's not a good experience.
Well, it depends. I'm not gonna smoke cheap weed. I'd probably make an edible out of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to each their own. The fact that you have to do something to get you to be able to take it.
But then there's the joy of baking.
Oh my God! All right, now we're just changing. The fact is, this, you know, it did its job in terms of I got a few cheap laughs out of it. I didn't have to think very hard. Even though their chemistry was, you know, kind of awkward, I actually enjoyed both of the leads, their performances very much. There was something kind of cute to it. But at the end of the day, the bad plot. The plot itself felt like a vehicle just to have some weird moments, like a sex cult, right? There was nothing beyond just having these interesting, you know, visuals and sets. That was it. That's the only reason to it, and that was obvious. So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't good.
It was cool that it was filmed in New Orleans. Like, they did that.
Yeah.
That's a cool city that they don't utilize.
Have you guys ever been to New Orleans?
No.
Oh, it was a great city.
I've been to Louisiana, but not New Orleans.
You've been to LO? Is it LO?
No, I think it's L.A.
I think it's LA.
That's why
that's
actually when you
confusing.
write out Los Angeles, you need to do L.A.
Oh.
Because L.A. is Louisiana.
Well, you learn something new every day. Ravi, was Lovebirds bad?
Arjuna already filled out the outline with a no, so my answer is a no.
Oh, so it wasn't bad.
Shit. No, it was bad. It was bad.
Was it good?
It was not good. It was terrible. I did not like it.
I heard you chuckle a couple times.
Once again, cheap laughs, but will I ever go back and watch that? No.
Right.
2 days later.
Not at all. I would rather go watch Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Breaking news. Ravi Ramgopal has been tasked with directing Lovebirds 2. he calls it, quote, a great honor, and that he's excited to work with a spectacular cast on a movie that he, quote, again, within quotes, loves.
What is wrong with you? Oh, your hand's in my shot.
So?
Get your hand out of my shot. I don't put my hand in your shot.
You should.
Moving on, kids. It is Memorial Day. So, I guess we talk about war movies? I'm kind of confused by this bridge.
Well, you know, it's Memorial Day. Memorial Day is obviously about you know,
remembering
those who we lost. As we talk about movies and TV shows, I thought it would be appropriate to potentially, you know, there are many war movies and it could be TV shows too. There's like Band of Brothers and all those types of things. But I figured there's a relation there. We could bring up what our favorite wartime.
We've had some great ones in recent memory. The ones that come to mind, we've had Dunkirk. We've had 1917. Those are the two that really stand out. And here's the thing. Here's what I think the purpose of war movies are. It's to show you how horrible war is.
Correct.
And in my opinion, a good or a great war movie is a great piece of anti-war media.
Yeah.
In my opinion, a great war movie, its job is to show you how terrible it is and to remind you this is a situation that we as a society and as a people should be trying to avoid at any and all costs. So
Yeah.
when I look at a great war movie, that's what I'm like a rom-com. I'm looking for cheap laughs, right? An action movie, I'm looking for crazy action, over-the-top, ridiculous set pieces that can never happen in real life. A war movie, I need to leave that movie terrified of war. All right, and that's how I judge my war movies. And there's been some great ones over the years, especially.
So
recently.
you're not gonna to follow that up. Then you guys probably would not appreciate my favorite or most interesting.
No,
war thing.
that's my take.
Because
There's other ways to look at
my
it.
thing that I've always enjoyed in that genre, like war movies, is actually some of the games.
Absolutely, dude.
And more specifically, this game called Resistance 2,
Resistance 2.
where
God.
aliens come and invade during World War II.
Is that a movie?
No, it's a game.
video
It's a
game.
PlayStation 3 game, I think.
Resistance 2.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it is.
Yeah.
Did that come from an actual movie?
No,
Oh,
it was an
okay.
original thing that Sony did, I believe. But my thing is Resistance 2. That's one that I like because
Your favorite war media?
yeah, my favorite war medium.
Interesting.
Yours is going to be Dunkirk in 1917.
Well, we want the favorite. The thing here is favorite war. Oh, it's media.
I
Okay.
changed it.
You changed it from movie. I'm gonna say mine is Dunkirk. The Dunkirk, it has a ticking clock during the whole thing. For those of you who've seen it or haven't seen it, it really, to me, it's the uncut gems of war movies. It's just very stressful the whole time, and by that it shows you mental illness. It shows you sacrifice, civilians getting involved in in wars, which is inevitable in pretty much any war. So, and I left that movie like stressed out, but appreciating the art that is that movie. It is a Christopher Nolan movie.
You love your Christopher.
Could
I
you
do. I'm
real
a
quick?
Christopher Nolan stan.
Can I change my answer to Star Wars
No,
because it has war in the title and it's a
No.
war?
It's
It's not a war movie. It's a science fiction
We're
space
talking
opera.
about.
Fine, Rogue One then.
No,
We're
it's
talking,
still
we're talking
not a
about.
war movie.
We're talking about like. I mean, Resistance 2 technically isn't a good answer either. We're talking about like real war.
Yeah. This is Memorial Day, Ravi. We remember
Not
real
fake
wars.
wars.
Not made up wars. And in my opinion, it's interesting, and I think your answers actually back up exactly what I was saying.
What?
That the fact that you're gonna pull in when the thing is favorite war movie, that your mind immediately goes to fake wars.
Mm-hmm.
That's because war is a bad thing.
Right.
It sucks to think of real wars, and war movies depicting real wars. Let's be honest, that's an uncomfortable thing.
It's true.
Right? And we're not even in the war. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it's interesting that your answers
Yes.
depict science fiction
Thank
instead
you.
of real war. And that's a good thing.
Thank
I mean,
you.
that's a
I can't tell what he's doing. Are you preaching?
No, I'm not preaching.
Thank you.
I just I'm not even praising. I'm just it's an interest, it's an observation. How about that?
Interesting. Do you know what would you say yours is?
It's got to be the. I think it was the first like war movie I saw. Like I was very young too when I saw it. I was probably way too young.
Independence Day.
No, it's Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, that's gnarly
Like
as hell.
that was that like to go to Christian's point of like, well, what is the best war movie that shows you that war like that? And this movie certainly had a profound impact on my life. But what movie really like causes you to like sit and think and like war is bad? And it's Saving Private Ryan for me. Like that is such an intense movie, and I think a lot of people have come out and said it. It's one of, especially at the time, one of the best movies that depicted how realistic war is and was. So yeah, it's got to be that, and it's it is a very very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, it's very well shot. Moving into something less depressing.
Yes.
Yeah, fucks.
Actually, sorry.
Today, Uncut Gems, a movie that depicts real life things, gambling and all.
It's
and
funny that you said
sports.
less depressing. Uncut Gems is just as depressing as any war movie
It's
I've
true.
ever seen.
in fact, it does the exact same thing as a war movie. Like to get you not to want to
Do something?
Yeah, war movies are basically anti-war, right? Uncut Gems, I think you could make a real argument, is definitely anti-gambling.
It is the Requiem for a Dream for gambling movies.
Wow.
In my opinion, Requiem for a Dream is the greatest anti-drug propaganda I've ever seen. Uncut Gems was the best anti-gambling.
Well, fun fact.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna be like, oh, Uncut Gems was actually produced by
No, that'd be funny.
What?
MGM. No, that would make no sense.
Anyways, Uncut Gems.
You two saw it.
We
We
did.
got the option of seeing it when it actually first came out in theaters.
No, I
During-
saw it on a screener.
Oh.
Hmm.
Well, did anyone see it in theaters
I
in
did.
the old life?
I saw the Uncut Gems in the old life.
Oh, remember the old life, the
but
AMC theaters.
I mean, I'll say this: sitting in that theater, watching that movie, especially being around people too, because when you're sitting in a theater, you kind of get the hear your murmurs and you get the feelings of people around you, right? That's part of the theater experience, and you could feel in that theater the intensity, how crazy. Like the movie just ramps up. Christian can back me up on this, but it just ramps up from where you start, and it's just this. It's like you're on a roller coaster, right? But the part of the roller coaster you're on is just you're going up, and up, and up, and up.
And you're waiting for it to drop, and it doesn't.
Yeah, and it's your heart is just pounding the whole time. It keeps going up and steeper, and you're just like, how am I gonna get out of this alive?
And it's the way it's shot too. Like you do need to check this movie out because the cinematography, the editing, especially the editing, it's just very chaotic. It's so chaotic, and it's the acting, of course, is great, and we'll get to that in a moment. But to me, what makes the movie, the most impressive thing about the movie is the editing, the way that it's shot, and the way that shots are set up, and the lighting, like especially in his fucking pawn shop, right? That lighting in that shop is it gives me anxiety to think about it. It's like that. What do you call it? Like the fluorescent. Like the cheap fluorescent lights that are too bright for the space that they're in, that cast these like harsh shadows.
It's like a science room in like school almost.
Kind of.
The intense
kind of.
fluorescent lights.
I think of it like as like the like cheap stores in the 80s, like grungy and grimy, and the lights are too harsh and they cast like these white shadows, like white lights, and
so it's
cast these
harsh
bars.
lighting.
Harsh. It's just it was just intense. And then there's like one scene when like Kevin Garnett and his posse is like outside. Like the scene to me that sticks out is when Kevin Garnett and his posse are outside. They're trying to get into the store, right? And the lock breaks, and it's like this 5-minute thing where Adam Sandler is like trying to unlock the door, and Kevin Garnett, 7-foot guy, 7 feet guy with his posse outside trying to get in, and they're just like, "Yo, let me in! Like, I need to hold on to this, like, or I forget the exact that part of it, like if he was trying to return it or extend his lease on the diamond.
He had the rock. He wanted to. He was
The
going to
gem.
return it.
He had the gemstone, yeah.
But he didn't have. KG had given his ring as collateral.
That's right. He wanted his ring
And,
back. Oh my
Adam
god.
Sandler didn't have it.
Was it
And
his
yeah.
NBA ring?
His
Yeah,
championship
his
ring.
2008
His
championship, ring.
ring.
Wait, so was he playing himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of
One
mind
of
blowing.
the best
It's cool.
one of the
It's
best
cool.
conceits of the movie is that Adam Sandler is a gambler, and he's gambling on Kevin Garnett during the 2009 or 2010 season. So they're using real game footage,
Wow.
and as Adam Sandler's like, "Oh, I need him to get 12 rebounds and 20 points and 4 assists, and if he gets those those minimums, he'll make like a fuck ton of money, right? Because that's how much he's gambling."
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to see, Kevin Garnett. And Kevin Garnett, by the way, hasn't aged a day. He looks exactly the same as he did back in 2010 when they shot this movie.
He's like Christian. He like shaves his head every day. So.
Yeah, it's like the shaved head look is the way to go. So, I'm sorry, we went all over the place.
Well, one of the biggest criticisms of the movie, everyone's like, "Oh, it's so realistic to sports," but one big criticism was I think he's watching one of the games on ESPN at home, and they play like the TNT. Like NBA music. And people were like, "This is such an error!
Wow,
How could you do this?"
I didn't catch
Especially
that.
for
but
like
that's
basketball
that's
fans.
hilarious.
People are like, "Wait, what?"
I mean, come on, guys, give it a break. Like one little, who cares? Maybe he turned the channel to TNT.
Yeah.
TNT.
I think one of the biggest discussion points out of this movie, obviously it was a big Oscars contender. And
Didn't win though.
Didn't win. But one of the biggest things was Adam Sandler not even getting nominated for Best Actor. And a lot of people, myself included, feel like it was a huge snub because to me, this is a defining role for Adam Sandler, right? Like we talked about previously in this pod. Adam Sandler is a stand-up comedian type of actor, right? He's done drama a couple of times, Spanglish,
Oh God, that movie. Wait, what about the other one? Click.
Punch Drunk Love, I think, was another like drama he did. But to me, this is on a completely different level. And when you talk about like these awards, I think people that an actor that stretches his way, his forte is comedy, right? And he's stretching all the way to this different tangent of drama and playing a completely different character. I just thought the performance was incredible. And I definitely think he got snubbed, but I don't know what you
Do you think Kevin Garnett said to him, anything is possible?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Adam Sandler
Like he was holding him at backstage at the Oscars or whatever. He's like, hey, man, anything's possible.
I mean, I would pay to see that image.
Photoshop.
If anyone's watching or listening, if you can Photoshop that and send it to our Twitter at Was It Good on Twitter, that would be greatly
We will
appreciated.
give you a Funko Pop.
Yeah, find the KG imagery where he has the trophy, he's hugging it in the thing, and he screams up, anything is possible. And just Photoshop Adam Sandler cradled in his arms.
Or however you want to do it. There are two better images to put together. Do it up.
Do that, and you'll get one of our many, many Funko Pops that we are slowly trying to get rid of.
We have like 1,000.
Most of those are mine.
Yeah. I know what I said.
No, we're getting rid of yours if we want to get rid of them.
No, it's fine. We'll get rid of yours.
Who won Best Actor?
Best Actor was...
He has a computer right in front of him, but instead of Googling it, he's trying to remember.
No,
Learn that you're in the digital age.
You have an impressive memory, Arjuna, but God.
It made sense who won.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, it was Joaquin. That's right.
Oh, for what?
Joker.
For the Joker.
Oh, he won for that, huh?
Oh.
So
in a year where Joaquin Phoenix was winning for the Joker, it is a travesty that Adam Sandler doesn't get nominated. Because
you act like...
Well, here's why.
Did Adam Sandler piss off the Academy?
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the Academy. I mean,
but
that was the big thing.
But Joaquin Phoenix hates the Academy and has openly talked against it. In a year where he wins, it's weird that Adam Sandler doesn't even get nominated.
So Academy voters came out publicly and said like, Sandler, we don't like Sandler. Like he makes these shitty movies. He hasn't he hasn't helped the industry. So the reason they gave Joaquin a pass is because like. He makes money for the Academy, blah blah blah, and like he makes the problem with the Academy of motion picture arts is they see movies as like everything is drama and must be shot this way and with film and this aspect ratio and we love Martin Scorsese and Tarantino movies.
So
they are art and like true.
Well, they didn't like
cinema.
Tarantino in the beginning.
Yeah, but now they love him.
Tarantino took forever for them to fall in love because Tarantino was one of the first directors to like make shit cheap, right?
Yeah, but so this is why I love him because he started making movies about Hollywood.
Yeah.
In fact,
Hollywood's
his movie called
cool.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood.
Yeah.
So with Uncut Gems coming out in 2019, where would you guys have ranked that? Obviously, you guys are upset that Mr. Sandler was not nominated, but where would you rank the movie overall with everything else that you saw last year?
I don't remember what I saw last year, so I cannot rank it. Unranked. No, it definitely should have been ranked. I just don't know.
I mean, some of my favorite movies last year were Parasite, The Farewell.
Oh, Parasite was so fucking good.
But this is right there, up there. I mean, it's got to be at least top 5, maybe top 3 for me. Just because it was such a unique movie experience. It's such a well-made film. Definitely one of my favorites of 2019 for sure. It's definitely up there.
Yeah, it's definitely top 5 for me. I just don't remember what else.
I'll say some movies from last year.
Yeah.
And then you kind of say better or
I like
less.
that.
All right? So real quick, Avengers Endgame.
I'm gonna put Avengers Endgame above it only because of all the stuff around it, and also I think it's a phenomenal.
I'll put
movie.
this above Endgame.
Okay. It's the only movie I can remember right now.
Okay. All right.
1917. Parasite.
There's some great movies.
Joker.
Joker.
Joker was fine.
Marriage Story.
Would you guys say it was good then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was a
Good
big
movie.
surprise. Big surprise.
Did we?
Big surprise. Speaking of surprises, guys, before we get to the What It News.
Was it news?
Well, here it says What It News.
It says, was it news?
Was it news? What did I say?
What it news?
What up?
Hold on a
news?
second. That's such a good intro.
Oh, it's
Whoever
amazing.
came up with it, good job, buddy.
John Williams.
Oh, yeah, no shit. So for those at home and those listening, for those listening, real quick, we're actively going through and giving away a bunch of things and stuff because we like to downsize. And you, our listeners, our viewers, we want to give you a piece of our junk, like this Millennium Falcon.
It's never been opened.
It's never been opened. It's never been used.
You're really underselling this.
It's an iHome speaker. But for those watching and listening, we do our giveaways primarily on Twitter, which is at Was It Good, and on Instagram, Was It Good BTM. Typically, it's just a quick follow and like to be entered for the drawings. And then Arjuna has a cool secret program that he designed himself.
Wow.
No.
It's called a piece of paper and a hat.
No, it's just a random. You can put these generators and you put the names in.
Ah.
So, Arjuna, tell us who is going home today with the
And
new...
a drum roll, please.
Hold on. Tell us.
At Mini. No, that's not right. Oh, hold on.
The anticipation is killing me.
My ad blocker blocked it. Give me a second.
Wow. This is unbelievable.
This is crazy.
Folks,
I really want to know who's winning.
This is the most intense drawing we have ever had because
really
technology
is.
has failed us once again. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I want to talk about something very important to my heart.
Go ahead.
Cookies.
I love cookies.
Internet cookies. Are they good or are they bad?
They're not the worst thing in the world. Well, while we're waiting for this,
The winner is...
Oh, here we go. Hold on. And the winner of the iHome Millenium Falcon speaker is...
At Ed Nazaro.
Oh,
there you
go.
So, Ed, we will probably...
Contact
We
you.
will
Contact
slide
you.
into your DMs.
Ed, we're going to contact you.
Or you can slide into our DMs if you're watching.
No, we'll contact you. We need to get your address, and then we'll ship this bad boy off to you at some point.
Woo!
Awesome.
Cool. We'll make sure to disinfect it first.
Yeah, smart, actually. No, don't do that. God.
Wait, what was the basketball player?
Oh, Rudy Gobert.
Idiot.
Oh, Rudy, I thought we were talking about...
So, moving into Was It News. A couple of things that happened this past week. The biggest and most exciting thing, the thing that dropped, was a new trailer by Christopher Nolan for his new movie Tenet. When I saw this trailer, I will say this. We live in shitty times right now. It's not the worst of times, but it is shitty. And it felt normal. It felt normal to see a trailer of a movie that I'm interested in seeing.
No. It was good to see a trailer of a movie that still thinks it's going to get released in theaters. That's what you meant to say.
Yes.
At least, or is still advertising that it's going to
That
get
was probably
into
the
theaters.
biggest and most interesting part of that trailer, and the internet definitely took notice. At the very end of the trailer, it said, coming soon, or coming to theaters soon. I'm paraphrasing. That part I thought was quite fascinating. What did you guys think overall about the trailer? Do you think the trailer gave away too much?
I think so. And even the cast even came out. John David Washington even came out in an interview and said, I was surprised Christopher Nolan revealed so much about the movie.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't like this trailer as much as the first trailer. I loved the mystery. Like, I love Christopher Nolan movies and really not knowing what the hell is going on going into the movie. Now I kind of know what's going on in this movie. And I just kind of hate that, personally.
Yeah, I mean, what did we learn? Because maybe I missed some stuff. What did we learn in this trailer that was new information from the first one? That he sees things in reverse.
Yeah,
but we already knew that.
They
we
explained
already
it.
guessed
They kind
that.
of explained the mechanics behind it. It's kind of like time travel, kind of not. They kind of revealed that why he's working with Robert Pattinson's character.
Yeah, why?
Because he's the best man for like whatever the job is or something like that.
Okay.
I just it's just too much. Like even the confirmation that like this is in reverse. You know what I mean? Like that to me is too much. It's just like oh, we gotta hold your hand and explain the visuals that you saw in the first trailer. It's almost like Bernard in Westworld season 3, right? Yeah. It's like here's the second trailer because people were confused by the first trailer, and it's just kind of cleaning up and explaining to you what you're seeing and what's going to happen, and we're scared that people won't tune in to this movie because it's confusing.
You might be right, but part of me thinks that Christopher Nolan allowed this much information to be released because let's be honest, his movies are really complex. And the reason that he probably allowed all of this to be released in this trailer is to help explain the mechanics, but that's not going to be the twist. That's not going to be the driving thing behind this movie.
Well, I think the scary thing about everything is what's the actor's name? Denzel's son's name?
John David Washington.
So John David's comment of like him saying, "I didn't realize he was going to give away so much."
Mm-hmm.
You could look at it as one of two things. Maybe that's just like smoke and mirrors, or are we seeing everything, or like the majority of it? And there is no like Nolan twist, or like there is no other aspects potentially to it.
It's just a straightforward movie
Backwards
based on what we've seen.
And I mean, this isn't the first time Nolan's done stuff with time and
No.
presenting information in incorrect order and stuff. Like Dunkirk, one of the more recent films, is done in 3 different distinct periods over the course of a couple days or whatever. His big first one, Memento, is all done backwards.
Right.
Which, by the way, never watched that movie in chronological order. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah. Well, I think potentially the best thing to do would be go back and watch the Inception trailers and see how much information is revealed in those, right? We all saw the Inception trailers. I don't remember them personally. Did it ruin Inception? No.
You do remember them, though. They all went like this. Wow.
You're right. That is true.
And the start of epic trailer music.
I mean, going into Inception, we knew it was going to be a movie about dreams.
Yes.
I guess I don't remember, but that would be the test. Go back, watch the Inception trailer. How much information did they give?
Yeah.
If they gave a lot of information away, Inception was not ruined from that, right? If they didn't, then maybe there's now there's precedent to be worried because Christopher Nolan didn't give away everything for Inception, and the movie was great.
It doesn't matter. I refuse to see this movie now.
Oh.
Speaking of Inception and dreams,
of course I'm gonna
we correctly predicted that the Snyder Cut would actually come out, and it's going to come out on that new HBO Max platform. The most interesting piece of this information with the Zack Snyder Justice League cut is that's coming out in 2021, which makes me believe that there was never really a cut. They just decided, hey, this is a good money grab opportunity.
Well,
let's do it.
If you read the Hollywood Reporter article, they are actually pumping in millions of dollars into this for new visual effects.
Oh no!
And editing.
Wait.
So you're correct. There was not a polished final cut that was ready to go to theaters.
So they're gonna take something that potentially is interesting.
Yes,
and they're gonna make it just like Justice League that came out.
Yes.
This is hilarious.
I mean, it's smart though, right? For
no,
Warner
it's not
Brothers.
smart.
Well, no, it is. Like they have this new streaming platform. You're looking ahead to the future, and you need content for this massive streaming platform.
You need something to get people to.
So why wouldn't you like go and
it's genius.
Redo it? I just wish that HBO Max and everyone kind of like figured this out sooner, so that when the new platform launches, which I believe it launches this like Tuesday,
Friday.
Is it Friday?
May 27th.
Isn't that Tuesday?
Oh, that's Wednesday.
Wednesday. So it's launching in a couple days. I wish that they had the foresight to be like, when it launches, let's also drop the fucking like Snyder cut. Like,
well, so here's why
they think Warner Brothers has insight. Have you seen the DC?
But like
Disney, they didn't agree to this thing until recently, and now everyone's working from home. It's going to take that much longer to put in all of their special editing, reshoots. The reshoots.
But this thing,
reshoots
with working from home and how everything is set up right now, you don't need to be in office to like do all these edits. They could have done them.
I don't know how long does it take to edit something like that? I would think a long time, right? Like think about it. We're sitting on how many episodes of Whiskey Bros, and we can't even put out one yet. And that's just
because our editor's busy with other things.
The same thing is probably true for those editors.
That's not true because that's their job full time. Is that like they're working on other projects?
They probably are working on other projects.
No, when you're doing a movie, you hire an editor to edit just that. You don't hire the editor to be like, hey, so Steve, you're going to edit a little bit of Justice League, a little bit of this.
You don't have in-house editors that you assign to different things? You hire editors just for one project? Is that actually how it works?
Hold on. First of all, for a movie editors are like film directors. They're highly sought after. They're big time and whatever.
Oh.
Second of all,
there you go.
right? you have a main film editor, but you have all the visual effect pieces. Those visual effect artists are probably freelance, and yes, they are working on multiple visual effects projects. They might be doing visual effects for Justice League. They might be doing visual effects for The Eternals. They might be doing visual effects for, a show like for like Falcon and the Winter Soldier or whatever. It's like any place, right? So everyone's a freelancer. So yes, that it's up to the freelancer how many projects they want to take on, and how many hours they're going to make available to whatever studio.
So that's why it's 2021.
Well, I just they're doing a lot to this movie.
We're both wrong.
Like they're doing a lot to this movie clearly. And
They're gonna make it shit. It's gonna be shit.
They're gonna make it like it's gonna be. Here's the biggest con. They're gonna release Justice League, maybe with an extra after credit scene. That's what it's gonna be.
Well,
most likely.
Well, so here's my question. Here's my question about Justice League, right?
It sucked.
What's interesting about this is Henry Cavill has moved on from being Superman. Ben Affleck has moved on from being Batman.
Thank God they sucked.
Right? Jason Momoa's Aquaman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman are completely different characters in their solo movies than they are in the actual Justice League movie. Ezra Miller's Flash may or may not happen. The last thing we saw of him was choking a person outside of a bar.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So like what?
The good old days.
So what is my question is what is Warner Brothers' plan with the DCEU?
There is no plan.
But like, if half of these actors are moving on, right? Robert Pattinson is the new Batman,
and he's not working out. He's not. Wait, I don't know if we mentioned this last week. I think we did.
I don't know if we did.
Robert Pattinson is the new Batman, and they had to take a break from shooting.
Yeah.
And he refuses to work out and stay in Batman shape. That, my friend, sums up the DCEU to a T.
Yeah.
It is a shit show.
So those are the questions I had. Like, how does this relate? Like, you're releasing this. But
this is just a money grab to boost their stupid streaming platform.
But is it a money grab, or is it going to confuse audiences even more?
Audiences
Audiences aren't confused because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're just like, cool, another thing to watch and not care about.
I mean, how many they released the Joker, right? That should confuse people. We're like, wait a second, who's the Joker? Is it what's his face? 30 seconds to Mars. Is it Jared Leto? I
forgot he was the Joker.
Is it Joaquin Phoenix? Like what? Well, what's going on here? Which one is Harley Quinn married to? Is it Jared Leto or is it
Yeah.
At this point,
it's a throuple.
DCEU needs to they need to go all in and confuse the audiences to the max. They should have 4 Flashes, 10 Batmen. That come together like the Power Rangers.
They had Ezra Miller's Flash appear in the Arrowverse crossover.
So was that before or after the choking incident?
Before.
Oh, okay.
Well, before.
So speaking of Ezra Miller and the Flash and confusing audiences.
Well, I had one more thing I wanted to bring up about Justice League.
Why?
Well, because there is a hashtag that's trending for our live stream right now. It's hashtag Make Solo 2 happen. Now we know the Snyder Cut was based off of a hashtag, right? Release the Snyder Cut.
Right.
And in theory, it seems like that hashtag worked. Like, you pressured a studio into now spending millions of dollars to release a cut that maybe existed or didn't exist. Do we think that could happen again? Do we think
Solo 2? No, because they fucked up so badly with it.
They didn't fuck up with Justice League?
Well, Justice League was a financial success for them. They made money off of it. Solo, the studio considers it like a failure. Granted, it was in the positive, but it did not make enough money, like as much money as they thought it would. Because remember, it came around the whole backlash of Episode 8. And then with the release of Episode 9, more recently to complete the Skywalker saga. Sega.
Just kidding.
They're taking a break right now. I don't want, if they are going to do like a solo, I don't want it to be a direct solo 2. I want it to be about the Crimson gang.
Tide?
Crimson Tide? Crimson Dawn?
The gang that Paul Bettany's
I think it's
character.
Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be about that, but who the fuck knows, honestly.
I think a lot of those I have a feeling some of those ideas are going to be reused into the Obi-Wan show a little bit.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyway, before Juna ruined my great fucking transition, Speaking about casting confusions and all that fun stuff, unfortunately, the actress who was playing Batwoman on the Batwoman TV shows, Ruby Rose, has come out and said that she will not be returning for season 2, which was already greenlit prior to her announcement.
Yes.
So what happened? Why?
Well, as of right, or Arjuna, correct me if I'm wrong, but is there information as to the why? The last article that I read said that there was no ill feelings towards the cast or the crew. It's just that she wants to move on and work on other projects.
So that was her statement. Some outlets have come out and said that essentially she was not ready to be a lead on a show. She didn't like the long hours. She didn't like living in Vancouver. She also had a budding film career that she basically put on the back burner to take on the show. She was in John Wick. She had been in The Meg. So she was in some of these like
bigger
blockbustery type movies and was kind of on that precipice of being in more movies. So she didn't like that this took up so much of her time, right? And these types of like CW shows are time sucks. It's 22 episodes a year plus a crossover. You're living in Canada. It's a lot. That's a lot of work.
And that's just like filming to actually go and then promote it.
Yeah, publicity.
Like there's all the conventions and you're hitting all of those fun things up.
So here's the scoop, right? She didn't like it. She didn't do any of she skipped the publicity when season 1 came out. She didn't do any conventions or anything. She's like, nope, I don't want to do this. She hated it so much. Apparently, she was not a peach to work with on set. So she didn't like working with her castmates. She didn't like working with the crew. And it was more of, quote unquote, a mutual decision between Ruby Rose and the CW to kind of move on. Like
so she was a nightmare to work with.
It wasn't like she didn't want to be there, and it was obvious. And they just like, we're just gonna cut our losses and move on. Also, like having watched half of the first season, like her acting was painful. Like it was. Like, the CW is not, it's not known for acting, right? It's not known
then
to have...
why do you watch it?
I stopped.
Oh, you stopped? You gave up?
I gave up on all the shows.
Wait,
all of them?
Yeah. I
Wait,
gave up
Batwoman?
Yeah, I gave up. Basically, after the crossover is done, I tried to, like, watch a few more episodes, but it's like, I don't care anymore. Like, I made it to the crossover. It was kind of cool. And now I'm done. Like, it was just like, I don't need to watch any of that. Like, I was just like, there's too many shows. I don't care. Like... It's kind of like where I'm at with Endgame. Like, you make it to Endgame, and you're like, cool.
That's what a lot of people feel
I don't care. Like, I don't need to keep up with this anymore. I made it to this big event. And so I am interested with what happens in terms of the financial success of those movies. But
so,
yeah, like,
real quick, just to recap here, because I think this is more interesting news than that news. So let's get this right. So you gave up on Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You finally gave up on the CW
shows.
Superhero shows specifically.
Yep.
What are you still watching that we laugh or make fun of you for? Anything? Nothing, right?
Rick and Morty?
No,
Rick and Morty's
that
good.
makes sense. I even watch that on occasion.
Big Mouth?
No, that's a good one too.
SpongeBob reruns?
That's fine. Get
a lot of people are into that.
First 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow.
Nothing.
Wow. So Arjuna
You gave up all the bad television.
You know why?
It only took
but
10
you know
years.
why? I think we are in the golden age of television where there's so much content out there, right? You have all these streaming services. You have all these different types of shows. If you can't watch all of them. Like, you have to pick
You gotta
and
cut
choose.
out the bad television.
You really have to pick and choose. And, now it's like, okay, 15 years ago when it was just, networks, I would probably still be watching those shows, right? Because it's like, okay, like, I don't love them, but there's still something to watch. Like, subject matter I kind of enjoy. Now it's like, I have shows on Apple TV Plus that I want to watch. I have shows on new originals on Netflix I want to watch. Amazon Prime, Hulu,
Disney Plus,
HBO Max, Peacock. Like all of those streaming services.
Is Peacock?
It's the NBC one.
Oh my god.
All of those plus like any type of, if there are any network shows left, CBS, right? Like with the Star Trek shows. I still haven't finished Picard season 1, but I still want to watch it.
Don't bother. Don't.
I still want to
It's fucking shit.
I still want to try it.
Garbage. Hot fucking garbage.
So yeah, it's like you know what? I don't need like I said, I've kind of moved on. The shows are just there. If there's an because it trends, on the internet. If there's something like really mind blowing, like they're gonna bring in, there's a Flash arc where they do where Batman and the Flash fuse into like this villain. Like I think it's called like Red Lightning or something. Batman goes crazy, puts Flash onto the Batmobile, goes through the Speed Force, and Batman and the Flash fuse to become a villain that the Flash fights in like a comic arc. Like if they did that arc in the Flash, I would watch those episodes because that sounds cool.
No.
Yeah, don't do that.
That might be cool if it was like film like done well, but CW doing it, it would look cheesy as fuck. It would even look good. And then it's gonna be like you're gonna have this like bad guy who's like I am, no. Don't do it. Don't hurt yourself.
So moving on from that, last two pieces of news here. Sports documentaries. The 30 for 30 Michael Jordan doc obviously ended a couple weeks ago, and more news, more sports doc news has appeared as of late. More specifically, the Apple TV Plus service, which is, there. It's not really known for anything, unfortunately.
At the moment.
They just greenlit, it looks like, a new short-form sports documentary series that's going to be made by Mr. LeBron James and Mr. Timothy Brady. Or Tom Brady.
Thomas Brady.
The new quarterback for the
Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Judah's new favorite team.
I hate them.
And, I mean, that's one piece of news. And the other one, to just kind of like tie it all in together, is there's supposedly going to be a Brady documentary on ESPN.
They're dubbing it the follow-up to The Last Dance, is how ESPN is dubbing it.
It's going to be 9 parts.
9 parts. There's an issue I have with both of these. Major issue.
Tom Brady.
No. No.
LeBron James.
No. The fact that we are now moving to the precedent, and you brought this up when we talked about The Last Dance, the precedent that the athletes are producing these documentaries.
Yep.
These aren't documentaries. These are fluff pieces about themselves. I don't know if you guys saw about The Last Dance. There was that there was a book that came out about Michael Jordan that was written by a third party.
Sam Smith, maybe?
Yeah, and he came out and said Michael Jordan lied more than he told the truth during The Last Dance.
Sure.
That's what these are going to be. If Brady had his Deepak Chopra's son, he has a business with him. They've done documentaries together. They did a Facebook Watch show a couple years ago. Apparently, they've been filming this last season. The last season he's with the Patriots, and now they're going to film like him with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it's his stuff. Like, it's not like he's bringing in an outsourced. He has a company with this guy. It's his film company. Him and LeBron have companies together. They're going to co-produce this. And by the way, Greatness Code, the Apple TV one, there's going to be an episode about LeBron and an episode about Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. You don't think those are going to be have a shining and nice light about those guys? Like, this is a horrible precedent. Like this.
I have a counter to this.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, who wants to go first? You want to go first?
Baldy's first.
Okay. Here's my counter to that. So much of the media around these athletes is from the outside perspective.
Sure.
We have their whole careers of news reports, team reports, and all this stuff that's outside. We never, outside of the biography, right? We never get to hear from the athletes themselves. So I personally am okay with it because this is an opportunity.
I disagree with that. Social media, like Twitter. You go on Twitter and you can hear what Tom Brady thinks about himself. I'm
no,
serious.
You can't.
Yes, you can't.
No, you can't.
What do you mean you can't?
No, because Twitter, nobody's. First of all,
you think Tom Brady's going to show his real self on the documentary?
I don't care.
It's the same thing. It's going to be combed over.
Yeah, no,
it's the same thing.
That's not the point. The point is, you're right. You'll never get an unbiased take from them guys themselves.
Yeah.
That's fine. Go watch ESPN. Go watch CBS. Go watch any of the millions of media where you can get a supposedly outside unbiased take, which, by the way, is impossible. I would love to see this kind of stuff. Even if it is fake, you're seeing the Michael Jordan documentary because it is more than half of it's fake, is a better insight into the man than you're going to get from anyone else. Because you get to watch it and you'll be like, well, that's not true. That says a lot. It says so much about Michael Jordan. I can't wait to see what's in a Tom Brady doc produced by Tom Brady, because you're going to be like, oh, that's really interesting. How much of it is true? How much it isn't? That's up to everyone who's watching to decide. Compare it to the years and years of outside stuff that we've had, and then you make your own decision.
Couple things. So the LeBron James and Tom Brady series is going to be produced by them and their companies or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not about them. It's highlighting other up-and-coming individuals.
Yeah, but they will each be featured in an episode.
Well, of course,
Yeah.
which is fine. The other big point is when you have money and you've made it, of course you get to write your own documentary. You get to retell the history and write your history because you made it.
History. Exactly.
It's your history. Of course you
Yeah.
get if I live long enough to become that interesting and some morons want a documentary on me, of course I'm going to make a goddamn fluff piece. Duh. It's terrible. Yeah, trust me. I said it last week with the whole Jordan stuff. It's yep, it's annoying. But at the same time, it's you kind of have to expect that. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I think that's a horrible precedent. I think it's horrible that we live in a society now where it's well, the best way we're going to get content of these guys, and I understand your point, and I agree with it to a degree, but the best way we're going to get content is by them producing their own stuff. There used to be a time where you could get good content not coming from the subjects that you're documenting, right?
Well, also, it makes you wonder, though, with Jordan having obviously produced his own documentary and, getting greenlighting all the conversations and all that, with, Brady, if he's producing and he's super heavily involved, what's he hiding?
Well, exactly.
Well, yeah, no, and that's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah.
The beautiful
Clearly,
thing,
he's hiding something.
the beautiful thing is that weeks and weeks after these things air, you get to hear all these people come out and be like, "Well, that's not true. That's not true." And guess what? It creates even more of this drama, and it's just an example of the drama that these guys had to play through. While they were playing.
Well, Brady's still playing.
That is the issue I have. So. The issue I have is that he's still playing. At least with Jordan, he's been retired for a good number of years now, right? Brady is still playing. He still has a whole
maybe
a whole
season
chapter,
coming.
a whole last chapter that isn't gonna be. And not that they referenced the Wizards years, right, with Jordan, but at least everyone knows about them. We're gonna get a documentary, and we don't even know the end of the documentary,
right? Which gives the ability to have a sequel doc. This is genius.
I mean, that's true. That is true.
This is truly genius.
It just proves that Brady isn't all in with Tampa Brady.
To be honest, that is the narrative. We as Patriot fans should be spinning.
Well, people will throw it in his face, right?
He sucks.
If the Buccaneers get off to a slow start, he's not very good. Yep. Oh well, he's not all in with the Buccaneers. He's focused on this.
I know we don't talk about sports in this podcast, but I think this statement needs to be said about any league and if and when sports come back. It is all gonna suck because all of these guys and gals have been sitting at home not competing for X amount of time. So if I see a single fucking article that's Brady packed it in, or such and such team just doesn't care, it's fuck off.
I guarantee you'll see 100 of those.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go and con every single one and go fuck off, fuck you, fuck you, triple fuck you.
I just want to
rant over
the statement. This is the most passionate about sports Ravi has ever been in his 30 years of life.
Yeah, because
and yes, he is 30 years old.
Because it's it's coming, but it's such a stupid
take. Yeah.
Stupid take.
Agreed.
It is beyond dumb.
Ravi, here's a take
just
for
be
you.
happy sports is back when they come back.
Here's a take for you. 95% of sports takes are really stupid.
Yeah. Which is why I'm okay with athletes producing their own documentaries, because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. At the end of the day, right, I think the best way to look at these docs is just pure entertainment. I don't want a history lesson. In fact, I want the truth to be as stretched as possible, to be as ridiculous as possible. I wanted Michael Jordan to come out and say, "I was a great teammate. I treated these guys with respect." He never did, because he knows the truth, and we know the truth.
So Christian's clearly Team Chaos all the way.
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
Oh, you have to.
I am too. I love that.
Yeah.
And with that, that's going to be our news. And I want to announce here on the podcast that the Was It Good crew will be producing their own documentary.
I love that idea.
It'll be released during the 100th episode of Was It Good. It'll be produced by us, starring us. None of it will be fluff. It's all true to life.
And it'll be written by us. Yes, it will be a scripted doc.
There'll even be a production budget, and we're gonna hire some visual artists to do some CG work.
Yeah. When we get final say over what is released.
Yeah, and we only want editors that are only working on this documentary.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing else.
That's right.
But that is going to do it for us, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you again for those watching live. We do the podcast every Monday, typically in the late afternoon to evening, live on twitch.tv/wasitgood. You can also find this podcast wherever you subscribe to your podcasts. We're also on Twitter at wasitgood and on Instagram at wasitgoodbtm. I was your host, Ravi, joined by the two brothers, Christian and Arjuna.
Hi.
Memorial Day to you. That is the end of the podcast.
Goodbye.
All right, we can cut all that.
We had a great comment earlier about Lovebirds from Justin Casanova.
Oh, nice.
If Lovebirds was a McDonald's menu item, it would be the McChicken. Cheap, but it'll get the job done. Well done. That is an all-time
When I ate meat,
response.
I liked the McChicken.
Oh, I love the McChicken. But it's true. It's like, you want something cheap. You want it to satiate that taste that you want. So, yeah, great stuff.
Any other comments, questions?
Someone was wondering what the Millenium Falcon speaker even looks like. So if you want to show the people, if they're still watching by Mystery Clouds 51, this is what we're referring to as an iHome.
Here, if you want to go to this shot.
Yeah. It's an iHome.
Makes this noise.
Makes this noise.
Watch our video gets taken down on YouTube.
Oh, we had a few ratings on your bicep.
Oh, nice.
Cadet rated it a 6 out of 10, which I think is pretty good. And then Justin Casanova gave it a 7 out of 10.
Fuck you, people.
What?
It's a 10 out of 10.
That is... Dude,
Ravi,
Arnold
it's not
Schwarzenegger
even-
is a 10 out of 10. That is not an Arnold Schwarzenegger arm.
So real quick,
That's a good rating. I give it a 4.
While we're doing this podcast, Megatron jumped up to the little Lego ship over there, and I don't know if you guys can see, there's the little blaster pieces. He grabbed one out of his mouth and then grabbed it and then took it down in his mouth, and he buried it somewhere for some reason.
Hey, was he a dog? He's burying
I don't
Lego
know.
bones?
He's weird. He's a weird cat.
Man.
He's your cat.
That's true.
Anyways, before we sign off, quick congratulations to Ed Navarro. Again, we'll be contacting you probably on Twitter, wherever he
Offline.
Twitter.
retweeted. But cool. All right. Is there anything else?
That's it. Go drink and be merry and eat food.
Do we have a tease of what we're giving away next week?
No idea.
We'll probably do these bi-weekly, I think, right?
No, let's just rip through and get rid of everything.
Wow. All right, we're giving away a Ravi.
You can get your very own Ravi.
It's free. Whoever offers us the most money.
Well, once we run out of stuff, we could be like, we'll record your voicemail.
Hey, you want to do a cameo?
No. We'll have a contest where you get to send us a video message, and we'll play it.
Wow, because, on social, people love doing that. They don't.
Oh, well, there you
People
go.
hate it.
Because they can see their faces.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Are we done? Are we offline?